Hello, welcome to the Divine CEO Show. I'm Laura Topper and joined today by Patricia Watson, joined with Patricia Watson. Patricia Watson joining the show. Welcome here. It's great to be with you again.
It's great to be with you, definitely. It's always good to be with you.
Oh, it's always good. I love the energy and what you bring to the world and what you bring to Divine CEO Magazine,
Thank
your
you.
writings and your teachings and your song. So powerful. Patricia, I'd like to read a little from your bio, which is on your website. Patricia Watson Sings. I'm putting the link in there. Patricia Watson, you're winner of the African Nova Scotia Music Association's Rising Star Award. You've been singing gospel music and jazz most of your life, and as a little girl, you had a recurring dream. I would be sitting in the audience watching myself on stage. This is what you were saying to yourself. And you'd be on stage watching yourself in the audience. Oh my gosh, this is a visualization technique here. This has played out in your life because you've actually been in both places and you've performed many times on many different stages and been appreciated as an audience member watching and listening to other musicians. You're a religious science practitioner, emeritus practitioner.
Yes, just became emeritus.
That's congratulations.
Thank you.
That's 25 years.
20
years of being a religious science practitioner, and you've performed your songs at the Halifax Jazz Festival, at the Tuscan Jazz Festival, at Harmony Bazaar's Women's Festival, and the Lunenburg Folk Harbor Festival, and I'm sure many other festivals, and all sorts of incredible on-stage moments that you've had, Patricia. You bring so much to life. Thank you. For everything that you're doing and everything you've got. It's like a tapestry of this beautiful weaving that you bring. What inspires you?
Oh my gosh, what inspires me? Being at this point in my life, what really inspires me is living my life.
And that as a verb, as a real, like living it.
Living, yes, definitely. I've gotten to the point now where I try not to let things or people interfere with the direction that I'm going in my life. And being a singer, which really that's my heart. As a matter of fact, when I leave here, I'm going for my voice lesson. So, but being a singer, and being a spiritual coach too, all of the things that I engage in with my spiritual community, which is the Center of Peace in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And so
powerful community, very empowered community.
Yes. And obviously I'm a remote practitioner living in Nova Scotia. So, but, teaching online and being a part of the education care circle, setting up classes and things of that nature. And when I go down every now and then singing. So it fulfills my soul, fulfills my heart. It's what I'm here for. And I finally got that point. It took a long time.
Well, it can take a while, can't it, to polish the diamond?
Yes.
Intentionally. To get to that point where, okay, I'm doing this now and I'm not letting anyone else or any of the beliefs that are no longer need to be implanted.
Right.
I release, I dissolve them. And it's a process, isn't it? Of being aware.
Yes.
And not shaming ourselves or judging ourselves for what could have been.
I used to do that though. I mean, what if? It was all around the what ifs, but trying to live the what ifs, I don't live my life because I always wanted to be doing something that I was not capable of doing or didn't think I was able to do, which basically keeps me stuck. It doesn't allow me to actually live my life at all. I mean, I get up in the morning, I live in a beautiful part. I look out my window and I see the river. I look out the side and I see all the trees. I walk out the back door and I'm in the woods. And,
Gosh.
at one point I went, what more do you want?
Do you think that it's a thing where we can set expectations so high for ourselves that, not that they're unrealistic or unattainable, because of course anything is possible in the mind
Right,
of the divine.
right.
But I love that piece that you just said about how you had those high expectations and they were keeping you stuck.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, I always dreamed of being on a big stage. Well, I've been on a big stage.
Well, I just read it all out. Yeah.
I've always dreamed of like traveling as a musician. And at this point in my life, that's not my dream. My
Mm.
dream is to do exactly what I'm doing now, which is, we just finished I think it was one of the best performances I've ever done in my life. And it was with seven other women. It was, it was a fundraiser for an organization in Halifax, Nova Scotia, that actually is a transition house for women. And so we did a fundraiser for them. And my first rehearsal, I was blown out of the water because we have all these incredible women musicians. One I've performed with before, but all of the others I had not. And I was in heaven, literally. And the piano player, the keyboard player, who is over the top, she was amazing. And we almost, the audience, actually auditorium held 300. We sold 255 tickets, which was perfect.
Yeah.
But all of the money went back to Absent House, which was
Yeah.
really important, and this is for women who have been abused sexually and also physically. And
And emotionally.
and definitely
Yeah.
emotionally, deep scars, really deep scars. And so I told my story during we had
Mm.
one of the rehearsals, and I sang "You Got the Power," and I also sang in the show "Women, You've Come a Long Way," which was honoring my mother and my grandmother.
Right.
But in the rehearsal, before as I started to sing the song, I said, "This comes from a deep wound that has been healed in my
Mm.
life."
Mm.
And so one of the singers said, "Well, what was that about?" And I said, "Well, my mother, unfortunately, lived within a very abusive alcoholic. And one of the things that transpired was the fact that he would beat her. The other thing is the fact that we also got the brunt of it. But the one thing that happened for me when I was about 13 was the fact that my stepfather raped me. And that held many, many scars because it wasn't just one time. I can't remember how many times, but I do remember one night when he was about ready to, I some way wiggled free and ran to my mother. And my mom, from that point on, protected me. But it was at a time when it was embarrassing for women to admit, especially coming from a very, very religious family, to admit that that has happened within the family and also to report it to the police. And so I lived with that for quite a few years until I started really going into therapy. But that was like in my 40s. So
Mm.
that's from 13 to 40, where I literally kept thinking that it was my fault.
Mm.
And actually, women need to understand that it is not their fault. They also need to, for me, now I think there are so many other services that are available for women.
Yeah.
It's just being able to step up and say, this happened. And in that, in doing that, that gives you people who surround you who can support you through that process. I know there are a lot of things here for women as well. But I also know there are a lot of women in Nova Scotia that are abused and also raped. And so there are organizations that are out there, but it really means stepping up and saying something. And women are scared because even with a protective law order, they can still be hurt. So it's a journey for me. The journey, I used to think that love came from giving myself away to other people, mostly men. Or love came from doing things for people so that I would get recognition and they'd say, oh, wasn't that wonderful? Until I realized that that's not the way it works. So it was a painful journey for a while, literally going inside with help, definitely with help. I had a counselor that was used to dealing with women and also dealing with not only abuse, but also dealing with addiction. Because one of the ways I found to move through this at that point was to get stoned out of my mind all the time because it just erases it. So it's important for me. It was really important when I finally realized, if I continue this, I won't be here. I mean, I just turned 80. I won't be here at 80 if I continue to do the things that I'm doing. So I guess, as I said in my story, the eureka moment came when, one, I realized that I would not be here. My life would be over. And my dear, dear friend, and I can mention her name, Reverend Ruth Littlejohn, said to me, you gotta come here. I went, I'm not going to church. I've had church to hear. And she said, no, please try. So it took her about a year to get me there.
Yeah.
And I walked in the door and went, oh my gosh. So that was called Psalm Place, which was which basically is a form of Centers for Spiritual Living. That helped. Therapy helped. And finding my voice.
Yes.
Finding my voice. Right.
I'm blessed, and I can't speak for the viewers and listeners here, but those that are hearing this and your sharing here is it touches me on such a deep level that I've known you for a while, and I've only really known this in recent times, this about you, or this story, and that you're sharing it here is such a blessing for all of us to 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 allow us to see, to if not a similar story to yours, because we each have our own individual, but to find that courage to speak out for yourself, regardless of who's listening, but to actually speak out for yourself and find your voice internally, and what you must have gone through and journeyed through and adventured through to find those pieces of your soul that were kind of traced back to such a young age when that happened. That's massive.
It is.
It's massive. And I'm celebrating you here, Patricia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Really, thank you for sharing. And thank you for being the testimony and what I can see as how a woman or a person, an individual can come through that and then get up on stage and be the voice for other women that feel voiceless in the moment. Their own story.
Yeah. I actually told that story at the concert, because during rehearsal, one of the women said, do you feel comfortable saying that during the concert? And I said, well, the concert's for Absent House, which is a transition house for women who go through this process. So if there's one person in the audience that will hear that, that's what's important to me. And there were a couple of people that came up to me afterwards and thanked me for sharing my story.
I'm sure.
So I just think that, like I said, there are so many things for women now. it just takes the courage to step out. And also for us, if we see something, like a friend of mine has a friend who is going through a lot of violence, and she is now being totally protected, but she also has a cadre of people around her, including her therapist, who are helping her move through this. So she doesn't have to stay there. And I think that's the critical piece for women, is we don't have to stay in it, but you need somebody to help you get out of it.
Because there are stages, I'm sure, to realizing it, and to, I don't want to, and to saying to yourself, oh, this is happening. It's that acknowledgement that this actually is happening. And that can be, I'm sure, the first part is the hardest. The first step is the hardest.
It is.
That admittance that it is happening, and that there is help. And you're right, now in our society, in this time and in this age, there is so much help, so many safety nets that are there that weren't there.
Right.
That weren't there even maybe 20 years ago, or even if they were there 20 years ago, it would have been not as easy to access in such a supportive way.
Especially, because with my family, like I said, it was an embarrassment.
An embarrassment, yes.
And so people live with that. It's so in essence, it is not. What we need to do is just step up, all right? And it took me a long time to not forgive the act that transpired, but to release it so that it wasn't, so that I wouldn't live it for the rest of my life. And like I said, therapy.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for claiming that piece, because you defined what you were forgiving.
Yeah.
And you made it work for you. And that's so important, because so often we hear, oh, you have to forgive it in this way or in that way. And it's a very personal, that in itself is a personal journey.
It's a very personal journey. Yeah. Yeah. But I would not, it's interesting, because at one point I said, I wish that hadn't happened in my life. But the bottom line is it did. And so because of that, I've looked back and said, I would not be the person I am now if I had not gone through that journey. Sometimes I think, oh, wow, I wish I could be born knowing what I knew, knowing what I know now. Then life would be easier, but life would not necessarily be easier.
No, because there will always be
journey.
Yes, there'll always be the polarity. That's the experience of life.
Exactly.
Yes.
But now, I mean, I love one, where I'm living, my partner, who has been so amazingly supportive. We just celebrated our 36th wedding anniversary.
Yes.
And we redid our vows. So and it was magic. And we did it via Zoom because everybody's all around the place, so you can't invite people in because they're coming from all over the US and Canada. It was great. But just to know that there is always a way.
Yes.
And you can not move around it, because you have to go through it. But like I said, it's who's there for you as you move through it. And I have had so many loving angels during this trip. Reverend Rainbow is one of them.
Reverend Rainbow, she just came to my mind, my heart. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, she is my, what I call her, my spiritual coach. Has been for over 15 years. So yeah. It is a journey. Wow. It is wonderful. So I love the fact that not only where I live, because this was a dream that came true, the spiritual community that I have, the friends that I have, the music.
The music. I'd love to play a minute or so
to
give us and viewers an idea of a knowing of what you're doing. And I'm going to share my screen here. And this is called You Got the Power. Maybe you can give us a little
intro.
A little intro, what it means for you, why you created it, what it stands for. This song, You Got the Power.
Well, it came through a dream, and I got up and recorded it into my iPhone and then sent it to my friend to put it together. And I wanted to do a music video of it. But what it is stepping into your power, not letting anything or anyone keep you from your dream. Or as Dr. Gladys, and we'll talk about that in a moment, keeping you from living your juice. And so it takes, we taped it in Halifax, and the young woman who's doing it wanted to be a dancer, right? And so it's her journey as a dancer and living your dream. So you got the power.
Perfect. Let's go. Give me the thumbs up that you can hear it.
Stop you now. You have style, you have drive, you have the power. You got the power in your heart. You got the power in your soul. You've got that power in your mind. You got the power, you got the power, you got the power. You got the power, you got the power, you got the power. You can overcome anything that seems to get in your way. You can overcome anything that gets in your way. You got power in your heart. You know you got it in your soul. You've got that power in your mind. You got the power, you got the power, you got the power. You go through life separated from your source, not knowing the depths.
Wow. It's amazing. I could have watched the whole thing. And that's on your YouTube channel, Patricia Watson, YouTube. So yes, so viewers, you can find it there. I'll put the link in under the video anyway, so people can access it.
Thank you.
I love it. That is your jazz band, isn't it? You have your own.
That is, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got the power.
One of my bass player moved to British Columbia, so I have interspersed bass players, but it's really great. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. That's so beautiful. And you got the power. What a message that, for all of us, whatever we've journeyed through in our lives, to hear the words in music, it really does go into the brain in a different way, doesn't it? And
because we know we have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I love is I was sharing the book by.
Yes, I was just going to get onto that now because I'm really excited. Let's get this banner up. Are you living your juicy life? Viewers, are you living your juicy life? Patricia, are you? I am. Yeah.
And this is the book by Dr. Gladys McGarry. It's The Well-Lived Life, 103-year-old doctor's 6 secrets to health and happiness at every age. My dear friend Rita is teaching this with me from our spiritual center, and we're in our 5th week. But Dr. Gladys lived to be 103, and at 103, she had a 10-year plan for her life.
Yes. Yes.
She's an amazing,
Yes.
remarkable woman. This is the book. It's The Well-Lived Life by Dr. Gladys McGarry. And in it, she talks about living your juice. And I'm just going to read this piece about juice. And this is in her words.
Putting you on the full screen there. Oh, not me on the full.
Okay. So the juice is our reason for living. It's our fulfillment, our joy. It's what happens when life is activated by love. It's the energy we get from the things that matter and mean something to us. It's what her parents told her when she was working with undeserved population. It's the first secret I share. You are here for a reason. Each of us is here to connect with our unique gifts. This is what activates our desire to be alive. Achieving this connection isn't necessarily the point. The search counts far, far more. The process of finding our juice keeps us vital. This is not a new concept. And as I say it, live it. It's a fabulous book. It really is. And we are so blessed that her son, Bob McGarry, who has a human potential humanistic society in Austin, Texas, he's going to be our special gift. Our special gift. Yeah. Our special gift. Yeah. Our special guest on during our Monday class. So yeah.
That's so beautiful. And I just, how inspiring that she, at 103, she had a 10-year plan.
A 10-year plan.
It's so true, isn't it? Because what we're seeding, or when we are the seed, full stop. And
Right.
what we be is what we become. And so, I believe that there's no death, although our physical body obviously experiences that. And from a soul level, there is no death. And so to have that plan at 103, what a confirmation to set that into motion for the newness of her life, whatever plane that is on.
She's amazing. She was an amazing woman. Yeah, I really wish I had gotten to meet her, but I'm meeting her son. So, a part of the seed of her, which is his son. And he does a meditation too. I joined him for his meditation on Tuesday night. So I'll send you the information on him as well. Okay.
Yes, fantastic. And you're on the cover this week of the magazine of Divine CEO. And thank you for your articles and your support and sharings over the time that the magazine's been here. It's so great that you're woven in with the voices of the writers, sharing this message and inspiring all of us to live our best lives and to realize that it's not, there's a lot of sweet and there's a lot of sour of our lives, and how to navigate that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The willingness, doesn't it? And the bravery and courage to go within.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can I sing a chorus from We've Come a Long Way?
Please do.
It's actually
on the big screen.
It's Woman, You've Come a Long Way. But the chorus is, Woman, you've come a long, long way. Woman, you've come a long, long way now. Woman, you've come a long, long way from bondage to freedom now. So we've come a long way.
I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I haven't come a long way with the technology.
That's okay.
I was trying to anyway, forget it. That your voice transcended what I was doing.
Thank you, Reverend Laura. This is awesome.
Oh, Patricia, it's so great to be with you again and to be in your energy. And have you got, I really would love you to share about how people can connect with you for practitioner work, for you as their practitioner, and what actually that looks like. So viewers can get the gist of what you do, how you work with people, and what it means for them to be working with you privately.
So to get in touch with me, it could be through my email.
Yeah, I'm going to add this on here.
Yes.
Okay, what is your email?
PWASSOC
Yes.
at Eastlink, EASTLINK.ca.
Okay. I will put that in the show notes as well.
That's .ca, not .co, CA.
That's CA. Hold on.
For Canada.
Yeah. Okay.
And so what I love to do is actually help people find the truth for themselves. So in terms of within a session, it's when we join each other, we connect. And basically one of the things that I will do is open with an invocation or a treatment, depending on the situation. And then we have a little dialogue about, what brought you here? And just talking about, what's going on, what would you like to see in terms of moving through your life. And so that's a dialogue of however long. And then I always give people something to walk away with and something to do, like even if it's journaling or if it's reading something or whatever. And then basically once we close, I always close with a treatment based on what the purpose is for them.
Yes.
And I'll give you an example of one of the things one counselor gave to me, and that is, or one coach, is when I was not feeling really good about myself, the assignment was, and I literally laughed about it, the assignment was every morning and every night, when I get up in the morning and before I go to bed at night, is to stand in front of the mirror and tell myself how much I love me. And initially there were tears. They were like, really? You got to be kidding me. And one day it clicked. And all of a sudden I went, wow, that's what it's about. So between that session with a spiritual coach and between the session with my psychotherapist, it finally got in.
Yes.
So it's
amazing.
It's about, it depends on what the situation is for the person. And it does not always have to be something that is negative per se. I mean, it could be something that you're celebrating, but we want to keep that vibe going. Right. And so for me, it's shifting consciousness.
Yes.
Right. From, oh, ain't it awful, to this is flying. We are on the road. Right?
Yes.
We're on the right path.
And then the spiritual mind treatment that you give, that seals the deal.
That seals the deal.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's one session, sometimes it, but yeah. But what I love is what I'm doing now for my center, which is teaching online and also being the head of the education care circle, which basically we put all the courses together. And last year was the first year that we had our courses in place for 2025 in August.
Yeah.
This year we'll be doing the same thing. So it's, it's moving along. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Wow. Yeah. So whether it's for your courses or your songs or practitioner work with you, that's a good, your email address stands for that. People can connect with you in that way. I know you're on Facebook as well and Instagram. I don't know. Are you on Instagram?
Not really. I'm trying to figure it out. I need a 13-year-old to teach me how to use Instagram and TikTok and all that. I have no clue. I'm still
stick with email.
Yeah. And I just want to do a shout out for my senior minister, who's amazing. She's
yes. What's her name?
Reverend Tawana Malone. Yeah.
Reverend Malone, yes?
Reverend Tawana Malone, right.
Tawana Malone,
Yeah.
fantastic. Shout out to Reverend Tawana Malone. Thank you for all that you're doing.
Yes, yes. And my practitioner corps who are on point. I just love it.
I've
Yeah.
seen an image of you all. I've seen the photograph.
Oh, yes, right.
Yes, that is mighty. That is powerful. And so, Patricia, I'd like to put you on the big screen again. I'm not going to mess with it this time. For your final message for viewers, whatever comes to you to kind of come to a close with the Divine
Can I
CEO
use
show.
my affirmation that I love?
Please do. I'm going to put you here. There we go. Oh, where have you gone? Hold on. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to.
So my affirmation for living, I raise my sense of personal value as I was born under a singing star. I accept my divine birthright and revel in the abundance of the universe that constantly fulfills my every claim. I honor who I am, a spiritual woman of God living in this time and space. And so it is. Amen. Ashe.
And so it is. And so it is. What a powerful way to come to a close. Patricia Watson, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Rev.
In all ways. And here is the Divine CEO link. I'll put the link in the show notes as well. If you're watching, when you're watching, DivineCEOconnection.com, and you can subscribe and receive the magazine as an email with Patricia Watson and more of her story and more beautiful images and songs and cover woman for Divine CEO. Thank you, Patricia, for being here.
Thank you. Blessings.
Watching. Love and blessings. Until
To
next
you
time.
as well. Thank you, Reverend Laura.